Hello, children. Are you ready for story time? Done with your homeworks and chores? I'm sure you have. So, the story that I've chosen is about this boy, Aden, who has moved to a new neighborhood which is called Toastic Estate. And there's something very strange happening there. And let's see, his curiosity and his smartness makes him discover a lot. So, I'll take you along and as to what he does, and it's from long ago, but not that long ago. It has its imagination in it. So let's see what happens. The thing about the Toastic estate was it was so quiet. Aiden didn't notice at first because when he and his parents first moved in, there was a lot to do. He had to sort out his videos and find the nearest takeaway, of course. Then he had to try and find his father's toolkit in the unpacked boxes, which were in an old shed at the back of the house. Funny sort of outside wall, said Aiden's father, tapping it with a chisel. I've never seen a wall like it. If I had time, I'd take a proper look. It was only later that Aiden noticed how quiet it was. Go and find some children to play with, said his mother. There aren't any, said Aden, and there weren't. There weren't any animals either. Strange. Aden found himself moving about as quietly as a mouse. Everybody here is very, very old, he said. Ha, said his mother, starting to laugh. Then she stopped and she went quiet too. Not making a sound was a little catchy. It was a little eerie, right? There was crotchety old Mr. King on one side of them and bad-tempered old Mr. Chest on the other. And yet sometimes at night, Aiden woke up to hear children singing far away. It was strange kind of music. It made him want to get out of bed and follow it. Probably somebody's telly, said his father. One day, when I have got time, I'm going to look at that back wall, and I've never seen stonework like that. As Adam had no one to play with, he decided to have a look around. The shed was quiet and shadowy and full of boxes. The wall looked just like a lot of rough grey stone walls. He burrowed behind some boxes, and then he saw it, a small door with a pointed top. He gave it a push. A small door with a pointed top. It was stuck, so really gave it a shut. And the next moment he had fallen through into musty darkness. Aiden was at the bottom of some stone steps, which went round and round and up and up. Up he went, but he hadn't gone far when a voice said crossly, "And where have you been, lazy good-for-nothing, lolling about the place? A lollipop is what you are." There was a small, fat man with a red face and a dirty apron. He was holding a large chipped mug. Well, hurry up and get this to the king, swift as an arrow, and shut your mouth or you'll catch flies. Now, obviously, Aiden was gaping with shock, coming across somebody somewhere down there. The little man hurried off, leaving Aiden with his mouth and his eyes as round as buttons. He didn't know what was happening, but his feet took him through an archway into a bare room. There was an elderly man, hunched up in a huge wooden chair. He was wearing a dingy crown over one eye and a long coat with big sleeves. Had a grey beard and his mouth turned down at the corners. So somebody was looking sad. Okay, but somehow Aden knew he was a real proper king. His feet took him over to the chair and one of his knees bent, so like he was under some magic, right? He offered up the mug. Uh-oh, I'm taking long now. But time, the king grumbled, and half cold as usual. It's time you took Toastic for his run. The king hitched up his coat and a small dog appeared. It was black and white and had blue eyes. Well, I don't have a colored picture, but this is the dog, Toasting. It put its head on one side and whoop, whoop, whoop. All his life, Aiden had wanted a dog, and he knew at once that this was the one. Toasting seemed to feel the same way because he trotted over over and leant against Aiden's knee with his tail wagging. Don't go too far and don't go following him. Aden found his tongue. The fool calls him a jester. My jokes are better than his. Why did the chicken cross the pot? Aden looked at him. Because it was egged on. The king gave a bellow of laughter. And upset his milk. Aden gaped. Toastic rolled on his back and the king stopped laughing as suddenly as he had started. Nobody to tell my jokes to any more, not since the fool left and took the children with him. I ordered him to laugh, but he wouldn't do it. Everybody else laughed at my jokes. It was the law. Kings want everything their way. Okay. Now they've all gone, the parents looking for the children following the jester. There's only me, the cook, and the toasting left, and you, when you came, you bothered. And the cook only likes jokes about food. Why can't you never starve in the desert because of the sand which is there? The king laughed so much. Ho, 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 ho. He fell off his throne. Aden helped him back. Isn't that funny? And Toastic waited hopefully in the doorway. Well, said Aden once, they were outside. Where am I and what is going on? But Toastic only rolled over and over in the long grass. The castle was quite small with just one turret with battlements. It had a drawbridge. There were some little wooden houses dotted about. It was so quiet. Just for a moment, he heard the strange music in the distance. I'd better get back, said Aden, or Mum will be in a state. There was a delicious smell coming out of the kitchen and the cook had his hands full. Good for nothing, lollipop, growled the cook, and don't you be late again. Aden gave Toastic an extra pat and ran down the stone step. Toastic began to howl. Ooh! Aden went through the back door with a rush. Just as father had got him, he's an obedient child. I've been visiting a castle and talking to a king, said Aden, and there was this dog. Funny you should say that, said his father. I thought I had heard a dog, but they're not allowed on the state. Glad you had a good day. Mine was terrible. And when Aden told his mother, she said he watched too much television, so he was imagining things, and he'd better go to bed early and not watch any more TV. So he was tired, and he had a lot to think about because he had actually met these people. He felt sorry for the king. Toastic and me, said Aden sleepily. I had better find those children. So doesn't it remind you of the story, the Pied Piper, who paid the pipe and the tune and disappeared with the kids? In the morning, Aden asked his father what it was like down at the far end of the state. There's a just big rubbish tip, said his father. One day when I've got time, I'm going to knock down the wall and throw it in there. Well, now Aden's chance came on Saturday when his mother said, are you sure you don't want to go shopping? Right? And you're looking more cheerful. Agreed, Aden. No, I'll be fine home, honestly. He counted up to 100 after his mother left and then ran to the shed. Okay. All right. See you soon.